Hey everyone, and welcome to the Eye Opener Society. Welcome back. Welcome to the show. You have your hosts, me, Gary.
Me, Hannah.
And how's everybody doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to make this really quick to start off before we talk about our show. I know we've been running some advertisers just because it's difficult to run a podcast when you're trying to pay for certain things, especially to keep the sites up, to keep equipment up, and all that. So we've been doing that, and I don't know. I look at stats, and I've noticed our stats were going down since we started advertising. It's not a very good thing, but listen, we have a few advertisers, and we're going to have a few more. But I'm going to do this. If you're interested in visiting our sponsors, we have Reaper Apparel, reaperapparelco.com. We also have Bear Blend. If you look at their website too, what we're going to do is we're going to put these links up on this show and the synopsis and on our website, eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. You can find it at the top, or if you're on a cell phone, just hit the menu and you'll have direct links to everybody who we're sponsoring. We're doing this again because we hate asking our audience for money. We don't like asking you to pay to listen to us.
We don't do Patreon or anything like that.
Right. So we're just trying to support ourselves a little bit. And we did pick up some sponsors. We picked up a new one, Red Devil Clothing. Really great people. Again, great clothing line. Look them up. I'll make sure we could get a link up as soon as we can. But the link will be in the synopsis of our show. And on a future episode, we're going to have some more too as well. But again, if you enjoy our sponsors, go to their websites, make your purchases, get your discounts. But if you don't want to do that because none of that appeals to you and you just want to help us out, there's always Buy Me a Coffee. And we'll make sure that there's links there too. Mm-hmm. Like I said, no pressure. It's just to help us out because we're just trying to make ends meet with the podcast. And we're going to get into that because, again, Hannah doesn't know the topic. This is one of my topic shows. And so we're just going to lay it out. This is going to be about the Eye Opener Society.
Hello.
Imagine that. It's very easy. We're calling
it us.
Yeah, it's about us. It's about I'm calling it the self-titled podcast because we never really sat and discussed and talked about our podcasts in general, where we're going, what we're doing, what we're about, because sometimes I think we run into an identity crisis when it comes to our show.
Yeah.
To a point, we always have a core foundation of what we believe in and what we're doing. But sometimes we just like to go off onto different topics just simply because we can.
Yeah.
So our show really, again, for those that don't know the background, we started out as Third Eye Meditation. It was actually me. I started it out and it was a podcast running for about a year. It was quite good and successful. And it was just me, but it was an infomercial because I was doing a little side hustle. And I had that podcast as a cheap way of advertising. When Hannah came on the show one day, I invited her on as a guest. The magic happened. Everything worked out so beautifully. I just told her just become part of the show. We rebranded, became the Eye Opener Society. And we did that. And we had an idea to stick with kind of the meditation, but we were breaking out of that bubble. So we didn't have to just focus on only one topic all the time about meditation. Our show is about life. That's how I like to look at it. Two regular people, that go through life every single day. We deal with the challenges. We deal with, the different things. And on my side, the metaphysical side, I'm always looking at the bigger picture, different perspectives. I'm trying to see more about conspiracies and the government and how everything just seems so weird, programmed, and fake to us. And how do we get by in life when we're all feeling miserable or even when we're feeling good? What do we do? Give some tips, some tricks. And a lot of it is personal, especially you, Hannah. On your side, you reveal some, really personal stuff, but you do it to help people. Mm-hmm. And I know it is helping. There's some people that actually came to me and said, they've listened to the show and they're actually using some of your advice.
Yeah.
And I am really proud of that. I'm not big on all the statistics, but I do watch them. We do in this show, and I'm just trying to get a feel for how many people are out there. And we also always said, if there's only one person listening to our show, we'll give you the best that we possibly can with what we have. That's it. That's the Eye Opener Society in general. Just look for the topics. We always try and put some sort of message in the topic, and it's always related to some sort of life advice.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do. So
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean,
sometimes
some
we throw
topics.
shows in that we're just like, we just want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it.
Right. And people will get the idea. Like when we did the serial killers episode, we just threw that out there just as a way to change things up, give people a little bit more of a topic. But of course, those shows won't really have a message. But again, they did, because we did it differently. It was just like my whole flat earth thing.
Yeah.
It was different because it was about conversation. It really wasn't so much about flat earth as
I feel like everything that we release, there's always going to be some type of greater picture or meaning.
Mm-hmm. There certainly will be. And there's more to this. And I'm bringing up this whole topic because coming up in June, we're going to have, God, I don't even have my notes with me for that. June 18th and June, oh man, what is it? Anyway, it's not even on there. It's on my calendar here. Oh, okay. But anyway, I've been working with a group called the Podluminati. And all that is, it's really a group of podcasters. And we've been holding weekly meetings because come June, which is going to be, I'm double checking here, so forgive me. Yeah, June 15th is the first one. And then we're going to have another one on a later date. And we're staggering the times. If you're interested, you look up Podluminati on Facebook, because I don't know who's out there listening, but maybe you're listening to us and you're saying, hey, we could do a podcast. Or you're saying, hey, we could definitely do better than Hannah and Gary. That's great.
The shade.
Yeah. And that's great. And we support that. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has something to say. And I always said, get on a platform that's not mainstream. Get on a platform that's your own. You don't have to censor yourself, and you could just talk about what it is you want to do. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast, Podluminati is opening up this Zoom convention online for people who are looking to start their own podcast. So if you're interested in that, again, come over to Podluminati, message us at the Eye Opener Society at gmail.com if you're interested. And we could send you the links and I could get you involved in it. Or maybe you're listening and you have a podcast. Yeah. And it's a small to mid-sized podcast and you're looking to get some tips, tricks, advice, and stuff like that. That Zoom convention is also going to be based on that. We're going to have a bunch of different rooms. We're going to have different speakers. I'm going to be one of the hosts. The whole thing is being run by the Josh and Paulie Show, another great podcast if you want to check them out, and also by Twisted Tales. Chris Tell, fantastic person and a fantastic podcast too as well. And there's so many others. And they're all going to be there. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to give them a quick shout out since they are doing it, and we're also going to have Just Us Thinking. Mm-hmm. That's another fantastic podcast. And then we're also going to have a couple others. We're going to have, I'm sorry. I'm kind of lost here for the name of that pod. Again, I didn't bring my notes there.
It's okay. But yeah, just like, and as far as the Podluminati goes, it's not just going to it's not going to be corporized. Mm-hmm. I want to emphasize that. It's going to be just like, everyday Joes and Schmoes like us, and we're just going to make conversation, and it's for everyone. If you want to just, like you said, want to start a podcast or you want to expand your podcast, it's not just going to be just like this corporized thing. Of course there's going to be speakers and everything, but it's going to be laid back. It's going to be a person talking to a person. It's not going to feel like you're talking to an AI or a robot and they're giving you a tutorial. It's not going to be like that. It's just going to be laid back, and it's going to be a great time. Mm-hmm. And we hope whoever is interested can join.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. And Roundtable Mindset. That's who
it is.
The other ones they're going to be running. They're actually going to have their own breakout rooms, and they'll be talking to those that would like to get into podcasting. Yeah. So that's I just think it's a great idea. And I'm bringing all this up, and I'm talking about our show because when I was thinking about what it is we talk about and how we've actually made some progress with actually reaching out to people and helping them. Mm-hmm. Like we like to promote small businesses as well. And that's why I said our sponsorships, they mean something to us. Well, they're not technically paid sponsorships because they don't give us any money. We just make a percentage of whatever you guys buy from them. But this is show is about you. It's something we're doing because we're passionate about doing it. It's a great way for Hannah and I to bond. We love getting in the studio and just kind of hanging out and forgetting the world for a while and getting our words out. And that's the whole meaning of this. And we would love for our audience to give feedback. And that's why we have a Facebook page. You could go over there, you search the Eye Opener Society on Facebook, join us because we do our once a month live event now every month. I'm not sure when you're listening to this, but we're in May and the 31st. We're going to have our first Friday night show at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we just go over all of the episodes we did for the month. And it's a great chance for you to join and get in on the conversation with us.
Interact and everything like that.
Right. Yeah. We don't do any kind of debating. We don't do any kind of drama or anything. Bring your opinions, but bring them in a, open-minded way, and we'll listen to you. And that's the whole point of it. We love doing this. And again, riding into work this morning, I had this idea. There's been unfortunately, a lot of tornado season. I had just mentioned that to you too before we hit record, because a couple are going on right now and hopefully everybody's okay. But I seen a big cloud this morning when I left. Like I went out, I had no idea what it was doing overnight, but when I was leaving for work, it was pouring rain when I opened the door. It was just like pouring rain. I was like, wow. Get on the car and I started driving, and the rain kind of started breaking up a little bit. But I noticed a huge cloud, like a dark cloud. It was so ominous. And I'm looking at this. And then I said, this represents life. Because as I'm looking at that cloud, right, that dark cloud and, and the rain that's associated with it, all around the edges, all I see is bright light.
Yeah.
And I said, this is life. You're going to have the black clouds. Mm-hmm. But as long as you're staying under it, you're going to constantly be under that pressure of that black cloud, that depression, that negativity. Mm-hmm. But if you just travel far enough, you're going to get past that.
Yeah.
And you're going to go into the bright sunshine, and life's going to change for the better, and things will get better.
I know. I always say like the most cliche things to my friends who are like, I don't know how I'll get past this. And I'm like, it can't rain forever.
Yeah.
And it's true.
It can't. And it really don't. And that's why I say it took a while to get through that cloud before it finally broke and, I was more in the sunshine again. But I said, yeah, it's okay. That's how things happen. Sometimes it's a small cloud and you could get out of it very quickly. Yeah. There's times you're going to have to travel a long distance before you can actually get out of that. But that's what life is. And I said, this is what our show represents. We're representing each emotion. We represent exactly what goes on in life. I like to put everything metaphysical because I don't like to put a harsh religion on anything, nothing organized or structured. You believe what you believe, but we all go through this. And as I was going through this cloud, I said, you know what? I'm going to start changing my mindset. I'm going to start changing my attitude. And once I did, it was funny how I reached the end of that cloud.
Yeah.
And I was in the bright light again. So that's what I do. At least that's what I want to do and push with this show is how to help yourself, how to see things in a different perspective so you can get through life. And we have to take all of that into consideration, even if it is government conspiracies, because a lot of that plays into it. It affects us. Traffic affects us, the rain affects us, the black clouds, it all does. But we need to have some sort of guide to let you know this is what life is and this is how we're going to get through it. So that's where I kind of come up with some of my topics.
Yeah.
Where you're a little bit different, where you come up with your topics.
I am.
And you present things in a different way than I do.
I do. I think a lot of my topics are personal, and I bring them to the table very wholeheartedly. And it's stuff that's like really difficult for me to talk about. But I know at the end of the day that if I've gone through it, that I know other people have. So I'd rather take my experiences and like how I got through them and how I feel now about them and, the growth that I've had. And I just kind of like, I just want to let people know that they're never alone. Like one of my biggest fears and one of my biggest things is like, I don't ever want to be alone. It's okay to be with yourself, but like I don't ever want anyone to feel like they're alone in something or a situation, or they don't think anyone's ever going to understand. That's what I mean. Like, I don't want people to think that they can't talk about things, because no matter what you're going through, someone else out there has been through it. So that's why I bring really personal things. And I think I get really passionate and emotional with those things, because I just generally am one of those people that wears their heart on their sleeve. And I want people to know that, like, you are loved and you will get past anything. And, that there are people rooting for you, whether it be, the stranger that handed you your coffee and told you to have a nice day.
Yeah.
I really guess, like, my bigger aspect of things too is like that, to pay attention to the little things, because you have no idea until you really stop and think about it how much little things, like someone telling you that you have a nice smile, or I really like your shirt or something, like, can actually help your mindset or help you what you're going through. Because I've been through it.
Right.
There's people out there who have been through horrible things compared to what I've been through, and it's just one of those things where it's like I just tell my stories, and I know that there's people out there that have gone through things. So, and I know I'm being repetitive. I'm sorry. I'm just always emotional, and
It's fine. It's fine. But that's what we are. When you break down our show, Eye Opener Society, we are a society, and society involves people.
Yeah.
And it involves people of all walks of life. And everybody has their place in this world, and everybody should be accepted. And we, work together as a society. We want to open up everybody's eyes to see things clearly.
Yeah.
And to start seeing things in a much better light, because when you really look at things, everything's going downhill. It really is, whether it be emotion, the way just the world is going, and politics and all. We want a society where we can rise above that. And I also wanted to address something else, and it's been bothering me because it's hard to say it without mentioning names or anything like that. It's just, there's been some drama that has been going on, and it's kind of closely related to the Eye Opener Society. But I just want people to understand, don't give up when you're being attacked. Don't run away. Don't hide. Don't stop being who you are.
And following your passion.
Yeah. You have to be better than that. You have to be stronger than that. But we've been associated with somebody for a while. I'll say that. I had their link on our website for a while and all, and they're no longer in business, basically. And I just wanted to reach out without mentioning names, because right now it's probably too soon, but I just wanted to say that Hannah and I love you.
We do.
And we really would like for you to have that passion that you have for what it is you do. And it's important to people. It's important to a lot of people that reached out to you. Even Hannah and I that have reached out to you. We like having you there. Everybody, you have support.
You're loved, you're gifted, you're talented, you're absolutely beautiful inside and out. It pains my heart that the ugliness in the world suffocated you, because the light that you have inside of you, I know it's hard to follow it right now, but it shines so much brighter than the ugly that was coming your way. And yeah, we just wanted to let you know that, we do love you and we support you. And it was a really hard thing for us to see. We talked about it in lengths. But yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to seem so cryptic, but I'm just trying to be respectful of the person right now. So that's why I don't want to mention names or anything, but I did want to say something because it's dear to us, because I talk a lot about the metaphysical. We've had a lot of metaphysical people that's represented our show in some way, shape, or form. I'm always pushing other metaphysical shops. Right now, a lot of the metaphysical is being attacked for whatever the reason is. Listen, this is 2024. We're in the 21st century. We need to start understanding that your opinion, while it's very important and it means something to you, there's a time and a place to express it.
Of course, 110%.
And we need to start understanding that in order to be better human beings. I have my opinions about certain people, about certain things, and I'm a very opinionated person. I really am. And believe me, they're strong opinions. Time and a place.
Yeah. It makes me think back to, when I was a kid, like my mom taught me at a very young age, if you wouldn't want it said about you, don't say it about others. If you feel that way, that's one thing. Keep it to yourself. But don't say anything that you wouldn't want said to you.
I like that because, again, the Eye Opener Society, this is our podcast. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
I don't restrict you. You don't restrict me. We do what we do. Podcasts, whether it's ours or anybody else's, regardless of the topics, podcasts are personal. Because it takes sometimes just one person, sometimes two, sometimes there's a group of people doing podcasts, but it's personal. Everybody sits in their space and they bring something forward to the rest of the world. And then it's up to each individual to decide, do I like this? Am I going to follow it? Am I going to listen to it? Those that don't like it, just don't listen. But you do get the haters. You do love to get those people that just love to hear themselves talk and
trolls
and their opinions. And, I hate the show. And they got to tell everybody how much I hate the show. Hate it all you want. All right. We're stronger than that. And when you're saying how much you hate the show, it must mean you're listening to it an awful lot. So thank you for your listen. And that's one way to help us out. More than going to our sponsors, more is just hitting that play button and listening to us. That's the best way to support us. Yeah. We know you're not going to like every single episode.
And that's okay.
It's fine. There's some topics that you're just not going to like. You may not agree with our opinions, and we totally respect that. There's no problem with you skipping over an episode or so. Wait for the next one. Yeah. It may be worse or it may be better. We don't know. Yeah, we do this unscripted, but words mean something. Words mean a lot, and words harm other people. It's slanderous at times. And that's why I brought this whole thing up. This is our show. Hannah, Gary, Eye Opener Society. Our audience, our listeners, you're part of the society. We're not here to harm anybody, but we're here to support other podcasters. We're here to support you, the listeners. We're here to support a better way of living, a better way of life.
Yeah. And I think with me too, it's like I don't really speak on it much. I know Gary brings it up for me, but it takes a lot for me to do the shows. I love doing the show. The podcast is a passion, but I struggle with crippling anxiety. I have really bad OCD. I have depression, and it takes a lot for me to come on here sometimes and open up and talk about the things that I do talk about. But I do that for you, and I do that for me, and I do that for Gary. I do it because the Eye Opener Society means so much to me. And even if, like I always say, if I help one person, then I'm doing something right. And I overcame my anxiety and I helped that person. And that helps me be able to cope with my anxiety or my depression. Because, if you struggle with anxiety and depression, you know how intrusive thoughts can be so suffocating at times that you don't know how to breathe. You forget everything. Especially, to bring up past episodes that were of course, my suicide episode, that took a lot of me. I think I wasn't back to normal for a couple of weeks after I did that show, but just getting the feedback that I did and just hearing how many people I've helped and how many people were inspired by that show, it helped me so much because the intrusive thoughts after that show were aggressive towards me. So just with that, like I said, if I like to do this show, it takes a lot out of me, but it's something that also alives me at the same time because I know someone out there is listening to me, and maybe I made their life even slightly a bit easier just by what I'm saying.
And that I know for a fact because people have come to me,
Mm-hmm.
People that I know in person and not just, from the feedback that we get. So it definitely makes a difference. And yeah, Hannah does have that crippling anxiety. It's very difficult for me to work with that too as well, because I feel that when I'm in here, her energy is just overwhelming. And I'm a perfectionist kind of person. It's like I want everything to work, but her fidgeting, her nervousness, I feel it. But she has her space. And I just allow her to be her because I think the podcast is better for that, because then it's not faked. It's not scripted or anything like that.
It's not like, oh, what are you saying type thing. It's just like, yeah, she's rolling with it. I can feel it, but she's getting there. She's getting there. That's why I stumble and I stutter. And sometimes I lose my train of thought and go off of different things. But that's me. That's who I am as a person. With OCD, my head is going a mile a minute and I'm just trying to figure out what to say next and how to make it make sense to everybody. But the bigger picture is I'm trying to, make sense of anything,
Yeah. And just the energies of both of us, I always say, is the yin and the yang. The older generation, the younger generation, the male, the female, the differences in our thoughts, the way we present things. It's such a great feel to us. We hope it works. But again, this is what you are listening to. You're listening to two real people. We don't do these shows scripted. As you can see, I don't even take my notes sometimes, and I'm lost as well. I don't see us changing that. I really don't. Because I like the flow of the show just the way it is. Some
even
podcasts,
with my stutters and my uhs and my likes.
Right.
That's just how it goes.
That's how it goes. And
would I love to be more literate? Absolutely. But that's just not me. That's not me as a person. And I don't think I would ever change myself, even for this podcast, because I feel like my personality and my ums and imperfections is what makes the show, funny and unique.
Yeah, it does. It just, that's the personality you're going to get when you listen to us. And I like it. I always, listen to the playbacks because I'm always wanting to just hear. And there's times I say, oh, this one's going to be a great episode for you. This one might not. Oh, this one may be a complete train wreck. That's what I do. But each episode that I listen to, all I know is that our two different types of personalities are working 100% all the time, regardless of what topic we're in or where we are in our headspace at that time. Or like when I hit the microphone like this, I don't even edit it out. I hate editing.
It's just us.
It's just us. But we also, and I wanted to mention too, we're not a guest heavy show. We don't usually have guests come on. I'm looking forward maybe to being guests on other people's shows. I kind of like that. It takes the stress off of us. But yeah, we've had guests on the show in the past. And I think the ones that have been on in the past are going to be the ones we're going to keep on. I actually got a couple of emails from a couple of, I guess, promoters trying to get their people onto our show. And I was just looking, I was like, no. It's just because a lot of people just want to come on just to promote themselves and they don't really have a message behind it.
Yeah. And of course we love to like have people promote themselves and everything, but we want always to have like a message when it comes to the show. Like Todd's a good example. Like, yes, he has, his promotion of himself, but like the way that he got in depth and talked about, saboteurs and everything and like what his goal was and why he does what he does. Like that was the message. That you got to sage yourself and sage your life and like everything. And it was just a wonderful example. But
yeah, I wouldn't have let somebody promote a website or anything that I felt was not good for our audience. And I thought Todd was great, even though the audio wasn't the best. That's what happens. But we are not guest heavy, but the ones we do have on, I'm kind of close with already because they're within that family of our podcasting. And I think
I would love to be guest on more shows.
Yeah. So we're definitely, reaching out. I know a couple people would like to work with us and I have, especially other podcasters, Real Men Hug. I think they want to work with us. So Real Men Hug, check out their podcast too.
Rude Dude Podcast.
Rude Dude Podcast had Hannah and that, Hannah, that one was better than the one you did with us. It was really, I really enjoy listening to that. But yeah, we got some great podcasters out there, great podcast community. And yeah, if we work on their shows, I'm down for that. But I wanted to give this episode because, like I said, there's been some negative energy in the metaphysical world. I really just want to reach out to that whole community out there. You have support. It's still, witch hunting is still going on. It's still alive and well. But I think we need to be stronger than it. And if you need help, you come to us. We'll try and figure something out. Work with us, and we'll be here for you. It's definitely something we're going to do. Yeah, I have no problem backing anybody up. But I want to thank everybody for listening, because listening is the best support. Remember, don't forget our sponsors, though. Please just check them out at the very least. Reaper Apparel, Bear Blend, and we also now have Red Devil clothing, and there's going to be a couple more coming. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure there's links in the synopsis. Check them out. You could get some discounts. I'll put some codes in there. This way you could get your discounts for them too as well. And any purchases you make helps Hannah and I out. Very small, but it still helps. Or just buy us a coffee or a pizza or whatever.
A hot dog,
whatever. But if you go to buy us a coffee, I'll leave that link too if you do so desire. If not, if you can't afford anything, listen to us. Tell your friends about us. Share us on social media. Go on our Facebook page and follow us. That's the biggest support you could give, not only us, any other podcast or any other small business. Word of mouth spreads like wildfire, as long as it's positive. When you put that negative energy out there, guess where the negative energy goes? Right back at you. It just does.
It's called karma.
Karma. And it's going to hit you really hard. You're not doing any damage to anybody. All right. You're just destroying the energies in your own little world. So that's what was on my mind.
Yeah.
I really enjoy everybody that supports us. Again, always listen to us on your favorite platforms. We're on Pandora again, so you can check us out there too as well. Check us out at eyeopenersociety.podbean.com. That's our website. And if you like, follow us on Facebook. Just look up Eye Opener Society, and you'll find us there. And we do our live event every month, our Behind the Eyes show there. And we look forward to you joining us on that episode and our next.
Yep. Have a great day.